Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Jason and I am your watch guy today. I'm reviewing the MALM Dalton 2 on the channel today. Now, you may have seen me unbox this. It was a little bit, well, it wasn't as well received in the comments as I think it maybe should have been. Mostly because of the movement. Now, this is packed with a VK63 movement and it is priced at €509. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say that that is too much for something with that movement. However, I don't think you should really judge a watch by its movement alone. So mainly, I want to kind of tell you why I think that this Dalton 2 is actually really worth the money. And that's where I kind of sit on the issue. Now, with that being said, this is a free watch. They have sent it to me for free. They also engraved the back of it, which is absolutely exceptional. That is a service that they do offer on their watches. If you want to commemorate something or gift it, I think that's an absolutely excellent idea. So, yeah, paid promotion, as you would call it. However, my views on this are completely honest, open, and my own opinions. Mom didn't want any input on the review. They simply told me their inspiration for the watch, sent it to me, and asked me to make a unboxing video and a review. No other involvement. Now let's turn this camera around and get into this review. So this is the MALM Dalton 2. Now, MALM are a company out of Linköping in Sweden. I always pronounce it wrong, so I'm sorry about that, but I'm sure you can probably Google them anyway. Now, Linköping is famous for its history with aviation. They have a lot of military fighter jets based in the area. Very proud of their heritage in Linköping. This one was actually made in close cooperation with Swedish fighter pilots at the 212th Fighter Jet Squadron. So it's not just a watch that they've put together and thrown out onto the market and sort of tried to tie it towards the Swedish fighter jet squadrons or the Swedish Air Force. This is actually made with their cooperation, which I think is really, really special. It's very popular with the Swedish fighter pilots, actually. MALM as a brand are. The dial is inspired by instruments found on Swedish fighter jets. Sweden are actually one of the only militaries in the world that produce their own fighter jets. Now this watch actually takes a lot of inspiration from it, from one of their jets, that is the Gripen, the JAS 39 Gripen. The crown guards are inspired by the intakes on it. We have textures on the bezel and the crown, as well as the pushers that is taken from that jet, from parts of that jet, instruments on it, that is. The subdials, the hands, everything like that inspired by instruments on that jet. As well as that, we have very lovely raised numerals in a steel type of fashion. They are 0.83 millimeters high, and it really makes all of the difference on the dial. It gives the dial a really nice bit of depth, in my opinion. As well as that, on this one we have C3 Super Luminova, but not just C3 Super Luminova. You may be aware that a lot of brands actually use really cheap Chinese mixtures of Super Luminova. This is made with Swiss C3 Super Luminova, so they haven't spared any costs on it. They have put in the highest grade that they can really use on this one. I will get to that Lume shot later on in the video. First of all, let me talk to you about the diameter of this watch. So MALM state that this is a 41mm watch. I actually have it measuring in at 41.5mm. However, I think they've measured the bezel here to give you an idea of how it looks on wrist. Lug to lug, it is 49.8mm, just within that 50mm spot that I really like to stay within. But the lugs do slightly curve towards wrist, and it is actually quite a comfortable watch to wear. Lugs are 20mm wide and it is 13.2 millimeters thick. Obviously we have a 3-piece case in here with the case back, the case and the bezel, which gives it the height. Now it's all made in 316L stainless steel. I am going to try and insert some close-ups here so you can see the quality of the finishing, but this watch is absolutely spectacular in finishing. We have really lovely, almost matted brushed finishing on the tops of the lugs with a high polish side. The side runs straight through the side of the watch with really nice brushing on the actual sides itself. As you can see, the accents between the brushing and the polished finish is really, really nice. As we move to this side, you can see the strip just below the bezel. The polishing on this, the brushing on this is absolutely spectacular. The finishing level of this watch is incredible. That is one of the things that I really wanted to get across after the unboxing, because it's one of those things that you can't really show very often in a video, the quality of a finishing. Now, as you can see, we have a really nicely tucked away crown on the Dalton. I believe that is the Swedish Air Force emblem on the crown there. As you can see, it's really nicely nailed crown, very nice texture to it. It is screwed down. First pull will set the date, second pull will be the time. Now the watch does have a chronograph feature with 2 really lovely pushes over to the side here. Very unusual shape, very well designed. I think that really does give a little bit extra to this casing and the design. You can see that second hand, well, that chronograph hand taken away here. Now the bonus of the Mecha Quartz movement is that smoother tick and that snap back. Now it is a Seiko VK63 Mecha Quartz movement. The actual accuracy of this movement is plus to minus 20 seconds per month, not per day, per month. So it is a very accurate watch, especially when you compare it to any sort of automatic. We have a screw down case back protecting the movement in this one. As you can see, the usual information around the outer edge. It has a radial brushing on this one, as you can see that Jason Watch Guy logo etched into the back, which is very, very special to me. Again, that is a service that they do offer on these watches, and I think it'd be perfect for a gift or to mark a special occasion. As you can see, they don't just engrave it with block lettering, they can engrave it with whatever you want. Very, very special feature to have on watches, I think. This bezel is a 120 click unidirectional bezel. It is very well fitted to the casing, sits in very accurately at the positioning. Now, to me, this looks like an aluminium bezel insert or a stainless steel bezel insert. I don't think it's ceramic. You can see that it is accented very nicely with that steel coming through from the black bezel insert with the numerals there. One thing that I really do like is the 00 at the 12. That really does give me an aviation type of vibe to this watch. I really do like that. Now, here's a flat sapphire crystal in this one. It is actually scratch proof and glare proof sapphire crystal. Glare proof, I imagine, is a anti-reflective coating. Altogether, this watch is provided with a 100 meter water resistance rating, which I think is pretty good for a chronograph with no screw down pushers. I think that that's probably what you'd expect, pretty accurate from MALM here. Now, as we move into the dial, it is really the real feature of this watch. Now, it's a lovely flat black dial, and we have the cutaways and a lower dial for the sub dials, which is really nice. It gives some depth to this dial, and talking of depth, those numerals are something special. They are applied numerals around the dial, Arabic numerals. They are in a stainless steel brushed finish, and it really does give a lovely, lovely effect to the dial. Now, around the dial itself, we have again applied indices at the hour markers. They are lumed and they sit upon a train track, minute track printed to the outer edge of the dial itself, as you can see around there, in a stark white, which gives a very nice contrast. Now, we have 3 subdials, as you would expect on a chronograph. We have the second hand ticking away at the bottom here. Obviously, it is a quartz movement, and therefore you do get a tick. White accents for the numerals and markers again, which is suitable because it gives you a really good level of legibility for the dial. Up here we have the 60-minute counter for the chronograph, and over to this side we have a 24-hour indicator. I really like to have one of these on a watch because it helps me setting the date, the time, etc. Up at 12 o'clock we have the Dalton logo printed with Dalton to print below and the water resistance rating. Over here between the 4 and 5 o'clock position, you can just see the date window there below the hand. Now the date window is actually a black date wheel with white accents, which really does suit this watch and really does play well with the dial. It doesn't take away from the dial, but it gives you that function of a date. I think it's nicely tucked away on the dial so it doesn't take much away, and I think that's the right decision from them. Now these hands are inspired, all hands are inspired by instruments on the Gripen, or from historical fighter jets from the Swedish Air Force. The really special thing about this chronograph second hand is the counterbalance. That is the silhouette of a JAS 39 Gripen fighter jet, which is a fairly nice touch, I think. And up here towards the 12, you can see that it does have red accents on the tip of the second hand, which is again a nice design. It's a very nice little flash of colour, and it gives you that almost aviator type of feel to this watch. Now, they have promised me that this is a Lume monster. Their words, not mine. So let me turn out the lights and we can see how this Lume is. And here we have it. They weren't wrong. It's really well applied, very bright. One downside is that the indices aren't so big. So obviously the application of the Lume is really good. It's very well applied, very thickly applied by the looks of it because of the brightness. However, because of the small surface area, there isn't much to see. One thing to mention though, the hands, very broad. So they do have a lot of Lume on them. This almost sword style broad hands, which is the best feature of the Lume signature anyway. Very well applied is definitely the way I'd describe this. I'm trying to spot if there's any sort of like negative or any patchiness on the hands, but there isn't. I do wish that they gave a little bit more surface area to the dial, but it is a really well applied Lume. As we move past the head of the watch, the dial and the casing, we move on to this leather band that they have supplied me with. It has a very lovely buckle on this one, a really nice tongue. The buckle is actually inspired by the wings of an aircraft, I believe, in the style of the wings of an aircraft. It's nicely brushed with the MALM logo at the top there. We have really nice levels of stitching on the band itself, as you can see there and there. These little pieces of stitching at the edge of a band really do give me the aviator or rally type of feel, almost a vintage type of feel also. I really do like the rally leather strap. These are really comfortable on wrist, very comfortable. I was absolutely apprehensive when I first got the Catalina in from MALM. I thought that the band was going to be a bit naff, but it's actually really nice. 2 keepers, one adjustable, one not adjustable. Gives you a nice fit. It's a quality leather band. And as you can see, even on my 6.2 inch wrists, this looks absolutely phenomenal. It is almost 50 mil lug to lug, but still it sits really nicely on wrist. And I think it's because of the case shape. It almost glides to either side, which is really nice. It almost slopes to either side. The case itself is actually quite substantial. It looks thinner than it is because of this polished accent, but it is quite a substantial case, quite a well built out casing. I really do like the depth that it gives to the dial also. A moan section for this watch. let's get the first one out of the way, the easy one. It's a quartz movement. Not everyone is a fan of quartz, and not many people are going to pay this type of money for a quartz watch. However, you do have to take into account with these watches the design, the fact that they're built in-house in Linköping in Sweden. They are actually hand assembled in-house. If you check out their YouTube page, actually, there's videos of them doing that, and it's a very, really nice process to watch. That's my soothing type of content that I need. Now, another thing to mention is that the indices, or the indice markers around the outer edge, the hour markers, not the numerals themselves, they don't have enough surface for a big lume shot. Now, the lume's really good. However, I would have liked to have seen more of it. Maybe thicker indices. However, that may take away from the actual design and style. And obviously, it is a pilot watch. The lume on it isn't the biggest issue. The legibility itself is the biggest issue, and with those really broad lumed hands, it will be very legible on wrist. Thirdly, for a lot of people, the price isn't what they pay for this. €509 isn't a small amount. However, I kind of side against that myself. It is in my moan section because I know a lot of people are going to moan about it. However, I think the amount of design that goes into this, the collaboration with the Swedish Air Force and the fighter pilots actually sitting down and designing this watch with fighter pilots, is actually quite a special thing to do. As well as that, the substantial build of the watch, the finishing of this watch, this timepiece, and the engraving that they offer on these, I think it's worth it. And a lot of you will think that I'm wrong. A lot of you will disagree. However, I do believe enough people will agree, and I don't think these will sit on the shelf forever. I think they'll sell out. These are limited pieces. They have 200 pieces each. I think they'll go. I'm actually quite confident. I really love this watch. I loved the Catalina also. MALM make fantastic watches, and it's really a lesson of don't just judge a watch's value on its movement, because there's so much more going on. There's so much more behind the scenes that you really do have to look at. The build quality, where it's built, what's designed, how the design process is. I just think it's well worth it. So guys, that is the MALM Dalton 2, and I personally think that they've done a fantastic job with this watch. Now, I know that it's €509 and it's quartz. I also don't care. This will divide opinions, and that's fine, because that's what this is all about. We all have our own opinions, our own tastes, our own collections, things that we like that are different to what everyone else likes. I mean, you've seen some of the watches that I've had on and I've absolutely loved, and to other people, they think they're horrendous. That's the beauty of this collection, or the beauty of collecting watches even. I think that it's one of the best hobbies I've ever come across, because there's so much out there for everyone. And yeah, I think that's the beauty of it, really. So you may not think this is worth it, and that's fine. But if you do, I have linked MALM's website in the description. They are always fantastic with their customer service. This has a 5-year guarantee. Not something that you see from many other manufacturers, to be honest. And that's how confident they are in their work. I think that shows exactly their level of confidence and their level of care when constructing these timepieces. To give them that warranty, they must believe that it's going to last. And it feels like it's going to last. Their website is in the description. If you have any questions, shoot them an email or shoot them a contact form from their contact us page, and I'm sure they will be happy to help. Thank you very much to MALM for sending this in. As I said in the previous video, the unboxing video. This is going to stay in my collection forever. It's going to be one of the watches that I hand down to my son when he's old enough. It's yeah, it's one of my favorites at the moment. It really is, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. That's my opinion. Thank you for watching this, guys. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, and I will hopefully see you in the next one.